Hey everyone, welcome to Wishing Well BBQ. I'm Dustin Wells, and today I'm going to show you how to make an old-fashioned pork loin. Let's do it. An old-fashioned is one of my favorite ways to enjoy some good old Kentucky bourbon. So I really wanted to come up with a recipe that used those same delicious flavors that you get in an old-fashioned. And I'm going to show you how to do that today, and trust me, it's going to be delicious. Hey, let me show you what we got to do to get this pork loin ready for the smoker. I went to my local grocery store and picked up this boneless pork loin, and this one weighs about 4.5 pounds. The first thing I want to do is grab a paper towel and pat this pork loin dry, and then I'm going to use my Spaceman Kiritsuki knife to go ahead and trim off any extra thick fat or anything hanging off of this pork loin that we don't want to cook. To season our pork loin, we're going to start out with yellow mustard as a binder, and we're just going to make sure we spread this all over the pork loin. And you know, for our barbecue dry rub, we're going to use Wishing Well BBQ competition style rub, and you just want to liberally season all over the pork loin. And once we've got it all seasoned up, now we're ready to put it on the smoker, so let's do it. Today I'm cooking on my Oklahoma Joe offset smoker, and I'm going to be using a combination of lump charcoal and hickory wood, and I want to use my propane torch to get this fire started, and I want my temperature to be about 250 degrees. Now let's put this pork loin on the smoker, bunch it up nice and thick, and then close it down and let it cook. While we've got the pork loin smoking, let's go inside and make up our old-fashioned glaze. To a medium saucepan, we're going to go ahead and add an 18-ounce jar of sweet orange marmalade. Then I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of Kentucky bourbon, and today I'm going to use Jim Beam, but you can use whatever bourbon you like. Now let's add 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, 1 teaspoon of simple syrup, 6 dashes of Angostura bitters, 6 dashes of orange bitters, and lastly about a tablespoon of Wishing Well BBQ competition style rub. Now let's turn it on a medium heat and stir it occasionally so that it doesn't burn, and bring it up to a simmer. We're going to let it continue to cook while we stir for about 10 minutes, and then we're going to cut the heat and let it cool down. Once it's cooled down, I like to add mine to a mason jar, that way I can preserve it, because I'm not going to use all of this sauce for this pork loin today. And that's all you have to do to make this old-fashioned glaze. Now let's go back outside and check on our pork loin. Alright, we've had this pork loin on for about 40 minutes, and just check it out. Man, doesn't the color of that just look awesome? We're sitting at about 108 degrees, so we've still got quite a ways to go. So let's close it down and let it keep on cooking. This pork loin has been on for about 2 hours, and just check that out. The color of this is phenomenal. We're sitting at about 140 degrees, so we're ready to put that old-fashioned glaze on this pork loin. One of the biggest mistakes that people make is they put the glaze on too early. You really only need about 20 minutes tops to make this glaze adhere to this pork loin. And when you're glazing it, you want to make sure you have a nice clean fire, because the smoke is going to stick to this glaze, and if you have dirty smoke, that's just going to give your barbecue really bitter flavors. And we're just getting this glaze all over this pork loin, and I tell you what, it's nice and shiny. That orange marmalade has some chunks of oranges in there, and you know what, that's totally okay. If you want to strain those out, you can do that, but I kind of like to leave them. They give a nice citrusy note to the pork loin. Hey, that right there is a thing of beauty. Let's go ahead and close down this smoker and let our pork loin get up to 145 degrees. I tell you what, this pork loin looks and smells absolutely amazing, and I cannot wait to take a bite. But before we do, let's talk about what we did to get here. I picked up this half pork loin and took it right out of the package, and used mustard as a binder and seasoned it with my competition style rub. Then I put it on the Oklahoma Joe offset smoker at 250 degrees for about 2 hours, until the internal temperature reached 140 degrees. We went inside and made this old-fashioned glaze for the pork loin and put it on there when the internal temperature reached 140 degrees. Once the internal temperature reached 145 degrees and that glaze set, we took it right out of the smoker and let it rest for about 10 minutes. And now here we are, and you know what time it is. I've got to take a bite. But first, let's slice into it. You know I'm using my Spaceman slicer knife for this. Take just a couple of slices on the end here. Oh, that looks so good. Of course, this knife slices it just like butter. Take a look at that. That is juicy. Look at it dripping. All right, that's it. I have waited long enough. It's time to take a bite. Oh, this is gonna be phenomenal. Hey, cheers to you. Cheers to a good cook. Let's take a bite. First off, the pork loin is amazing, and that competition style rub gives it an amazing flavor. But that glaze, I'm telling you, the glaze just sets it apart from any other pork loin you're ever gonna do. It has this nice sweet flavor to it, and it's nice and citrusy, and you don't really taste the bourbon, but it does give it just a little bit of that extra flavor that you're looking for. And I'm telling you, if you've never tried something like this, you've got to try this recipe. Thank you so much for checking out today's video. If you like what we're doing here on the Wishing Well BBQ channel, make sure you click that subscribe button below so that you don't miss out on any of the fun. Make sure you also follow all of our other social medias, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, and check out our merch store and all of our affiliate links in the description below. Thank you so much again for watching, and as always, we'll see you next time. Hey, and cheers to ya.